Good morning and welcome back to At Home with Roby. I'm Patrick McIsaac, president of Roby Electric, along with Trent Haston, president and CEO of the Roby family of companies. We are now joined by Marika Christie from Mecca Properties and Rob Presley from Mecca Properties. Guys, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having us. I'll correct you right out of the gate.
Get me.
Mecca Properties no longer exists.
Mecca Properties no longer. See, I don't know anything, Rob.
Mecca Real Estate Services, LLC, which has commercial and residential services that do business as Mecca Realty and Coldwell Banker Commercial Mecca.
Well, I do stand corrected, guys. I apologize. Trent, tell us a little bit about our guest today.
Yeah, well, I've revered the Presley family for several decades growing up and doing business in Charlotte and just riding around and being a bird dog. That's kind of my second career, or my first career, I think. Reagan emulated it to her grandfather. He used to ride around and see how the neighbor's corn was growing up in Illinois. But just checking and watching South End grow and driving a dump truck when I was a teenager and realizing who was moving and shaking brand-wise and stuff. And then over time I've got to know a little bit more about the Presley family and their generational family business. And per what Rob just said, that they've kind of evolved into a holding company of sorts that has multiple silos, very similar to the Roby family of company in that aspect. So we have so many parallels. Several years ago, I met Rob's partner and his brother of their generation, Andy, and we talked about our similarities and really hit it off. And now I'm getting to know Rob and Marika. We have a very similar interest, which is why we thought it would be a great guest. Everyone hears me talk about the West Side Corridor, Wilkinson, Moorhead. We own several properties and run our businesses on West Moorhead. I went to Harding High. I live out near Belmont, so I always gone in and out of Wilkinson, and I want to see this area flourish. I really think it's a hotbed for opportunity, and that's as we said in the first segment, that's the topic of the show. So, Rob, why don't you give us a little background about your business? I think Mecca and its evolution of names and businesses is a Charlotte staple. And I'm proud of Mecca and that it's one of Charlotte's babies. And tell us a little bit about your family and your business.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys having us on the show. We, like Roby, we go back 2 generations prior to Andy and I. My granddaddy started buying real estate about 65, 70 years ago. And through that process, accumulated a portfolio over the years. And at his death in 1980, my father was the sibling that agreed to leave corporate America and take over the family business. And at that time, we were Mecca Properties, and I still chuckle, and I appreciate you saying that because we still
apologies.
No, don't apologize. Mecca Properties was a brand that we carried for a long time, but as the company grew and our services diversified like Roby, we felt compelled to split the company into pieces so that they could singularly focus on their area of concentration. What many people don't know is we are a local homegrown company, but have evolved into a company that manages assets in 16 states. We, Coldwell Banker Commercial Mecca, does facilities management, property management, development, and brokerage. We've got brokerage assignments that are going on right now in about 5 states. We manage assets from Traverse City, Michigan to Key West, Florida. We, what a lot of people don't know is we provide janitorial services to bank branches. We fix plumbing in branches. We manage warehouses and shopping centers in other states. I was in Atlanta 2 weeks ago. We've got several assets in Atlanta that we're dealing with, but a lot of people don't know that, and that's fine. We don't try to be everything to everyone, but we try to conform to meet our clients' needs. And so splitting the company into several different names was very helpful, as I know y'all have found to be too.
Well, the funny thing is, when we redid our brand in the mid-2000s, like 05, 04, 05, 06, having these discussions, our business was Andrew Roby Incorporated, and it was primarily a custom residential construction service. And the first thing the branding fella asks is, do you want to – y'all call yourselves Roby. I hear you say Roby all the time. Do you want Andrew to be part of the name? So we had to address that. So our residential arm is Andrew Roby, but we are the Roby family of companies. Kind of cool. how you think about it, we're very similar.
And like you, we refer to our parent company, Mecca Real Estate Services, as Mecca Companies. And each of the different business units falls underneath that. I'll tell you an interesting fact that goes back to history. So Granddad started the company, and in the mid-'70s needed to more formally set up the organization as the portfolio grew and his services grew. And so the company was renamed to Mecca. And I get asked, the most common question I get asked is, what is Mecca? M-E-C-A. What is Mecca? Well, Granddad bought his first house with money that he earned as a recording artist for Decca Records.
Huh. Wow.
Granddad was a country music singer and guitar player, and in fact had a relationship with the Briarhoppers, who used to record here at WBT.
Wow.
And so when it came time to name the company, Mecca not only rhymed with Decca, but it also is an acronym for his 4 children, Michael, Elizabeth, Cheryl, Anthony.
Wow, cool. And it's the money Mecca from Decca. No, whatever. Go ahead.
That's kind of similar. I mean, Trent, people ask us all the time, what the story, how the name Andrew Roby, your last name is
very
Hastings.
similar.
So, I mean, we haven't talked about
They
that
always
on
say,
the radio.
why are you hastening the company Roby? Well, Mr. Andrew Robycheck started our business in 1950, and heck or high water, are we going to change that brand and that name and that homage? I would change my name. Frankly, I'm a proud Haston, but I would change my name to Trent Roby before I did the opposite. So,
well, I'm gonna stick with Presley instead of Rob Mecca.
I think it's got a good ring to it.
I kind of do too.
You need a co-hosting position.
Like Roby, the consistent thing within our organization is the name and the word Mecca.
Yep.
So on the commercial side, it's Coldwell Banker Commercial Mecca. We are the Coldwell Banker commercial affiliate for the Central Carolinas. And on the residential side, we operate under Mecca Realty, which manages and leases and sells residential real estate.
I guess I'm a little slow. My mind doesn't even ever go, why are they named the Presleys and their company named Mecca? I take life for what it is, so I don't think I'd ever be asking myself the Roby Haston question either. So we got a few minutes before our break. That's awesome. I love the history and the parallel. So you guys were hugely prominent in building up the South End corridor. Your dad's generation, I think you and Andy came along and helped hit the hi-hat on that, and now you've evolved. You were telling a little story before we got on here about how you lived in Belmont and you rode through when you were working in the South End.
Yeah, a lot of our last 25 years has been synonymous with the growth in South End. Dad saw something in South Boulevard corridor years ago that a lot of other people maybe didn't see, including me, and hired me 24 years ago to help with that corridor. And it was kind of the start for me. And we learned a lot through those years, and that neighborhood's gone from $100 million in total tax value to $2 billion in the last 20 years.
Smokes.
And so it's been a great success. But today we are no longer property owners in South End. Most people don't know that. But we have moved our attention and our focus to the Wilkinson Boulevard corridor, particularly, and the west side. About 10 years ago, I moved to Belmont with my family, and making that commute each day, I realized, holy cow, this is the last frontier in the Charlotte region. This is where the path of growth will go, and there's so much to be told and shared with the rest of the community about all the wonderful attributes of the west side. I just don't think they appreciate it. And so that's where our journey began on the west side, which I look forward to sharing with you in the second segment.
Yeah, and you guys, along with some partners, bought a building that I actually went inside several times with my family during the early 2000s. I'm proud y'all bought it. What y'all done is awesome. While you were talking and said west side, I did the west side on my hand because I went to Harding. So in one of our photos that we'll post on Facebook on our page, I'll have my sign for our side of town. And when we come back, we have Marika here who works with Rob and the Mecca Group. I'm just saying Mecca, works with Mecca. And and she's got a big agenda for the west side of Charlotte and the Wilkinson corridor, and I've been excited to get to know her and can't wait to hear what she has to say. We'll be right back.